I want to start with a conversation I've had, no exaggeration, at least 30 times in the last year or so. Someone sits down with me, smart, thoughtful, financially responsible, and they say, we're just going to wait for the Northern Virginia market to crash. And every time I hear that, I understand it. It sounds logical. It sounds disciplined. It sounds like a responsible thing to do. But in Northern Virginia, that decision has quietly cost a lot of people tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've watched people wait in 2022, wait through 2023, and wait into 2024. And now, prices didn't crash, inventory didn't flood the market, and they're dealing with higher prices and higher interest rates. So this video is not about convincing you to buy. It's actually the opposite. I want to walk you through the Northern Virginia market clearly enough, step by step, that you can decide for yourself whether waiting is smart or whether it's costing you more than you think. Because Northern Virginia does not follow the rules of the rest of the country. While CNBC is talking about a housing slowdown, I'm still seeing multiple offers on renovated row homes in Delray and townhomes near National Landing going under contract in just days. So, what's going on? Most people today are forming their real estate strategy based on what they're hearing nationally. They turn on CNBC, they scroll headlines, they hear phrases like housing correction, prices softening, buyers gaining leverage. And again, those things may be true in parts of the country that are driven by speculation. But Northern Virginia is not a speculative market. It's not a boom and bust market. It's something much steadier and much more stubborn. I had a client relocating from Scottsdale, Arizona, a sharp guy and savvy. He kept saying, I'll just wait for the dip, like we saw in Arizona. And I told him that strategy makes a lot of sense in Arizona, but it just does not translate here. Because in Northern Virginia, especially in places like Arlington, Lyon Village, Clarendon, in the Ballston quarters, Alexandria, Delray, Old Town, West End, and McLean, Langley, and Chesterbrook, you're dealing with a completely different foundation. This market is built on income, job stability, and long-term demand, not speculation. And when you understand that, everything else starts to make sense. Let's talk about what's really happening on the ground right now. Not theory, not headlines, reality. I call this the golden handcuff effect. Millions of homeowners, especially in this region, are sitting on mortgage rates in the 2.5% to 3% range. Think about that for just a second. Let's say you bought a home in 2020 in North Arlington, maybe a $900,000 home. Your monthly payment, principal and interest, might be somewhere in the low to mid 3,000s. Now, fast forward to today. You look at moving, maybe upgrading, maybe downsizing, maybe relocating closer to work. You run the numbers, and now that same level home costs you $5,500, maybe $6,000 a month. So what do? You stay. And this is not theoretical. This is happening in Lyon Village, Delray, Cameron Station, McLean neighborhoods near Langley. People aren't sitting around waiting to sell. They're choosing not to. So instead of inventory increasing when demand softens, inventory has been staying low. And when inventory stays low, prices don't fall the way that people expect. They stall, they plateau, they might adjust slightly, but they don't crash because there's no pressure forcing prices down. And that's just the supply side. Now let's talk about what's happening on the demand side, because that's even more powerful. This is where Northern Virginia separates itself completely from most of the country. You're not just buying a home here. You're buying into one of the most stable economic ecosystems in the entire United States. At the center of that is the Pentagon. The Pentagon alone employs roughly 25,000 people on site and supports tens of thousands more through defense contractors, consulting firms, and technology companies. And these are not volatile jobs. These are long-term, well-compensated, and often insulated from economic swings. And then layer on something newer, Amazon HQ2 headquarters. When Amazon chose Arlington for HQ2, it fundamentally changed the trajectory of demand in this region. We're talking about 25,000 plus high-paying jobs projected. Average salaries often in the $120,000 to $180,000 range, and a workforce that prioritizes proximity, lifestyle, and convenience. And you see this very specifically in areas like Crystal City National Landing, Pentagon City, parts of South Arlington, and even ripple effects into Alexandria and Falls Church and further out. You walk these neighborhoods today, compare them to 8-10 years ago, and it's not subtle. New restaurants, new retail, new infrastructure, new residential development, and most importantly, new demand. This is not speculative demand, this is institutional demand. Amazon did not come here to Northern Virginia because it was trendy. They came here because of access to talent, proximity to government, and long-term strategic positioning. And they're not leaving. But even with Amazon, even with the Pentagon, there's another structural factor, something physical that is quietly preventing this market from behaving like others. It's something you can literally see from a satellite map, and I will show you that in just a minute. It's not just that Amazon and the federal ecosystem are keeping demand strong. It's that while people are waiting for those forces to somehow weaken, the cost of the money that they're using to buy is changing every single day. So let's slow this down and really walk through it, because this is where most people get tripped up. Let's say that you're looking at an $800,000 home today, and you decide to wait. You're thinking, if prices drop 5%, then I'll jump in. So maybe that home becomes $760,000. That sounds like a smart move. But now let's layer in the reality. Interest rates move from 6.25% to 6.9%. Your monthly payment is now higher, even though the home is cheaper. You saved $40,000 on price and lost more than that in your monthly cost. And over 5 years, that difference compounds. You're not just paying more monthly, you're building less equity, and you entered the market later. Now layer in something else, historical appreciation. In Northern Virginia, over very long periods of time, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, home values have appreciated roughly 4 to 6% annually. Not every year, but over time, consistently. So that $800,000 home becomes $840,000, $882,000, $925,000, while you're waiting for a dip that may never come. The market doesn't pause while you decide. It moves. I've had buyers come back after waiting 12 to 18 months, and they don't say, we made the right call. They say, we should have just bought. And it's not panic, it's realization. They had the opportunity and they let uncertainty outweigh the fundamentals. But even beyond demand, beyond rates, and beyond psychology, there's a physical constraint that makes this market what it is. Remember earlier, I said that there's something that you can see from a satellite map? This is it. Pull up a map of Arlington, Alexandria, and look at it closely. You'll see established neighborhoods, limited open land, and proximity to Washington, D.C. There just isn't much space left to build. And what does get built? Higher-end townhomes, condos replacing older buildings, incremental density, not massive expansion. And on top of that, zoning restrictions, community resistance, planning limitations. all of it slows down supply. So even when demand softens, supply doesn't surge. And without excess supply, you don't get crashes. A real estate market crash requires pressure, job loss, forced selling, too many homes. A correction looks about like what we're seeing now. Homes sitting a little bit longer, buyers negotiating, and some price adjustments. This is not a breakdown, it's a normalization. And in many ways, this is the opportunity people said they were waiting for. But let me be very clear. Not everyone should buy right now. If your job situation isn't stable, if you might move in 2 to 3 years, or if you're stretching financially, waiting might actually be the smartest decision that you can make. This is not about pushing you into a real estate deal. It's about helping you avoid a bad one. But if you're financially stable, planning to stay long-term, and waiting purely because you think prices will crash, that's not a strategy. That's a gamble. If you're trying to figure out which neighborhoods in Northern Virginia still have value, where pricing is softening, and where I'd personally be looking right now, email me at brian@brianblock.com. I'll send you a breakdown based on your price point, your commute, and your goals. No pressure, just some clarity so that you don't look back a year or two from now and realize that waiting cost you more than acting.